Earthing. Exterior, quarry. Off-screen, a deranged woman is screaming. The torso of a heavily pregnant woman dressed in a modest, skin-colored outfit is revealed. She is tied in rope and bound in Japanese bondage. Off-screen, the screaming intensifies and is silenced with a punch to the face. Floral Martins, 23, eyes well up, bound in Japanese rope. She stares helplessly at her sister, Jans Martins, 17, who bears a fresh black eye. She has Down syndrome and is standing in a crowd next to her mother, Elsa, 58. Floral studies her disabilities, her confused expressions. Behind Floral is an elaborate circular quarry made of sticks. It is desecrated with dead sharks and fishes, their bodies penetrated and turned inside out, tangled in black seaweed. Floral looks out at a crowd of townsfolk that gathers around the quarry as Jans looks to her and moves her body closer, huddling up next to her mother. Pushing his way through the front of the crowd is George Martins, 60s, a burly farmer who joins Elsa and Jans in the crowd. He squeezes Elsa's hand tightly, crushing her fingers. A flame ignites a bunch of sage. It billows out smoke. Nathaniel, 25, enters. His clothes are dusty and drenched by the sun. He holds the sage out in front of Floral. She coughs and tries to free her hands, but they're bound too tightly. A look of desperation comes over her face as she looks out at Jans and Elsa. George and Elsa hold their hands in unison with the rest of the townsfolk, while Jans keeps staring back at Floral. Nathaniel, furious, focuses his attention on the crowd.
I know we have suffered, with no rain, no fish. It's more than we should bear.
Nathaniel turns and looks at Floral.
But we will stay here until the darkness is eliminated once and for all. The child that grows is his spawn. This woman is cursed.
Exterior, crowd. The crowd watches on eagerly with excitement.
Eliminate the darkness.
George watches the crowd with a solemn expression. Exterior, quarry. George looks to Elsa, who is horrified. He finds the courage to speak as he looks at Floral with hatred.
Please pray for my family. One daughter, forever a child, the other afflicted with the darkness. If it be your will, let her be punished.
Nathaniel takes a step closer to Floral and looks her over, studying her body. He places a hand on her stomach and shuts his eyes, attempting to feel if there is something unusual inside of her. The crowd gasps. Nathaniel thinks for a moment. He shifts his attention to Jans and studies her disability. Jans looks tenderly at Floral.
This simple child is the victim of the madness. Is it you that has cursed us?
Don't listen to him!
Nathaniel takes a step back, looking between Jans and Floral.
Who will confess?
Everyone is silent. They watch Nathaniel pick up a handful of sand, slowly letting the grains fall between his fingers. He then signals with his hand. Exterior, beach, water. Jans watches on helplessly as Nathaniel takes Floral to the water. He forces her head repeatedly underwater as she struggles desperately, gasps for air between dunks. Intercut with exterior, quarry. Jans is trying to communicate, but no words are coming. Only soft murmuring comes out. Her smile turns to tears as Floral is being held underwater again. Floral, now semi-unconscious, lies limp in Nathaniel's arms.
Speak, or she goes back into the water.
Nathaniel looks pleased. Jans looks at Elsa, but she looks away. A strange murmur comes from Jans. You notice that she is staring directly at George. Jans whimpers compulsively. Her eyes well up with tears. George's face flickers with uncertainty. Floral looks at his worried expression. Jans continues to whimper, more rhythmically now. His expression turns to rage as he tries to intimidate her. A soft moan is coming from Jans, which piques the crowd's interest.
Daddy opened my legs to give me milk, but it hurt, so I ran away.
Jans, don't do that.
Exterior, crowd. Nathaniel watches George, trying to subdue his rage. Elsa tries to step away, but George grabs her wrist and holds her tight. She moves back next to him, afraid to move. Exterior, shoreline. Nathaniel looks at the women. He has a look of understanding on his face. Jans smiles at him and makes loud sex noises.
Fuck me, suck my dick, Jans, suck my dick, Jans.
The crowd are shocked. Her moans are heavy and violent. Nathaniel looks outraged. She touches her breasts. George lunges forward and tries to stop her, but she tries to force his hand down to her crotch. Two farmers rush forward, grabbing George and separating him from Jan's. Exterior quarry.
Stop this nonsense.
Wait, it's true. I saw him hold her down. He did it to her. I couldn't stop it.
Sound effect. The crowd gasping off screen. Exterior shoreline.
She's lying, trying to protect her family, turning on a father who loves her unconditionally.
Nathaniel grimaces.
Hold your wicked tongue. Take her back to the water.
The fish will come back when the baby arrives.
Silence!
Jans ignores him, removes her shirt, revealing a small pregnant bump. The crowd gasps. Expressions of shock, sadness, and compassion. The crowd now believes Jans. They have a look of affirmation.
The darkness.
He has
He
cursed
cursed
us
us
all
all
by
by
interfering with his daughters.
Elsa cries wordlessly alone. George is furious. A group of townsmen are moved to restrain him. Nathaniel moves to stop them, and notices the mood of the crowd shift and holds himself back, suddenly uncertain.
I'm a man of strong moral values.
Nathaniel shakes his head reluctantly. He will not defend George any longer.
Fetch the rope.
Nathaniel moves aside reluctantly as they grab the rope. Floral and Elsa look on in shock. They are frozen as they watch helplessly with a look of confusion. George is restrained by two townspeople. Elsa unties Floral. Nathaniel cannot meet Floral's gaze. We hold on, the three women standing, unashamed and triumphant. George is forced down to the beach, followed behind by the townspeople.
You have put us in such peril. He who sins must be punished.
They are my family. I will deal with them as I see fit. Please, no.
Exterior shoreline, water. George is bound and gagged by the townswomen and placed at the foot of the tide. The trio of women walk down to him. Floral kneels and whispers something in his ear. She stands, embracing her family while Jans looks at her father. The tide comes in and out, in and out. Women watch George as the tide rises. Elsa places her arm around Floral and Jans as they exit. We watch George from a distance as the tide grows higher. Fade out.